You know, much of your success as an online business, especially with guitars, will depend on your domain name. The owner of two great guitar domain names has contacted me and he has them for sale. Those two domain names are guitarbuyers.com and cashforguitars.com. Call or email them at the contact information listed on that page, and they will give you 20% off the purchase price. In addition, they'll work with you to make payments if that's what you need. Again, that's guitarbuyers.com and cashforguitars.com. Hey guys, I got something really cool going on. This is a fantastic opportunity for actually you and I to meet and for you to hear some incredibly cool music. On Tuesday, October 1st, the Nashville guitar community is putting on a tremendous show of some of the top players. Pat Bergeson is going to be there. I had him on the show. He was mentored by Chet. Andy Wood, who's like lightning dangerous, also another guy that was on the show, plays mandolin, guitar, acoustic. He's a wizard. Darren Favorite, who's also on this show, second or third generation Nashville player. Matthew Lee, he actually runs a Nashville guitar community, along with Paul Johnson and John Stazella, and he is such a tremendous player. Meg Williams, up-and-coming blues star, and Terrence Downing, solid player, rocking in Nashville as well. So it's only $15 to get into this event. Again, it's Tuesday night, October 1st. The doors open at 6 p.m. The show starts at 7. It's going to be at the Analog Room at the Hutton Hotel in Nashville, and I think that's on West End Avenue. Tons of gear giveaways from Wampler, Eminent Speakers, GuitarEFX.com, BTPA Cables, Lucky Dog Guitars, Groon Guitar Store, Morgan Amps, and Von Scow. Pre-sale tickets, go to the Nashville Community Group on Facebook, and they'll have something for you there. And they also have videos of previous performers at this show on their YouTube channel. The other really cool thing is these guys have been kind enough to invite me to be the guest MC of the event, and I will certainly love to meet you. If you listen to the show, please come up, say hello. It's going to be a great night. Tons of cool guests, really good musicians. So come on down. Show starts at 7 at the Analog Room at the Nashville Hutton Hotel. All right, I will see you Tuesday night, October 1st. Be there. Aloha. If you want to buy or sell a home or investment property and you're here in the Tampa Bay area, in Hillsborough, Pinellas, or Pasco counties, then listen up. West Florida Real Estate is a local residential real estate broker that's helped over 250 Bay Area homeowners buy and sell their properties in the last 4 years alone. If you're looking to sell, you'll want to get their free report, The 7 Biggest Mistakes Homeowners Make When Hiring a Realtor. And if you're looking to buy a property, you definitely want to get your hands on the 21 Most Expensive Mistakes Tampa Home Buyers Make When Buying a Home. Each one of these reports is going to save you time and money. Inside, you'll discover the 7 most important things to consider when hiring a realtor, what to do if you're buying and selling a home at the same time, and the danger of choosing a realtor who agrees with everything you say. To get your hands on these free reports, head on over to westfloridarealestate.com. That's westfloridarealestate.com. If you're a business owner and you want to increase your cash flow, or if you're a label or artist and you want to promote new music, then listen up. For information about advertising on Everyone Loves Guitar, including information on geographically targeted ads, go to everyonelovesguitar.com/advertise. That's everyonelovesguitar.com/advertise. Hey, this is Craig. If you like this show and you want to support it and you want to keep it free, head on over to everyonelovesguitar.com/support. That's everyonelovesguitar.com/support. Hey, everybody, this is Craig Garber. Welcome to Everyone Loves Guitar. First of all, if you're watching this, I want to apologize. I got wrinkles on my wrinkles because I'm so tired today. I haven't slept. But I've got a great guitar player and a really cool guest with us, so he's going to perk me up with Sean Hurwitz. Sean, and now before we get started, I want to just thank our mutual friend Michael Eisenstein for hooking us up. Sean's a guitarist, bassist, producer, and songwriter. Originally from Israel, where he started as a session player and sound engineer, one of the many great Israeli guitarists I've had on the show, where he worked with top artists. That inspired him to reach for even greater heights in the international music scene. He's currently living in LA. He's had the pleasure of co-writing, producing, recording, touring, and playing with artists, including Enrique Iglesias. Did you get that gig after Tony Bruno?
No, after Tony Bruno was Emmett O'Malley, which was playing rhythm with Tony Bruno, and then he moved to the lead. And then when
Okay.
Emmett left, I auditioned and got the gig to play the lead.
Very cool. Smash Mouth, who he's currently touring with, the Gin Blossoms, Judith Hill, Anna Nalick, Chris Wallace, Ferras, and is that Ferras?
Ferras.
Ferras. He must be after 1970 because I don't know anybody before.
He's younger than me. Let's put it that way.
Right. Okay.
he's an amazing songwriter and artist. He's very, very Elton John.
Oh, cool.
Amazing piano player, incredible singer, great songwriter. He's in the whole Katy Perry camp. Like, he's one of that posse. When we were touring, if Katy Perry and her gang were doing a show in the same city, he would take off and they would hang out all night. And
really?
He's part of that family. Yeah.
That's interesting, man.
Yeah.
Ferras and
Yes.
loads of others. Sean, thanks so much for coming on the show. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me, man.
As I said, I've interviewed tons of really good players from Israel. For a relatively small country, man, that's pretty unusual. Like, what do you think? Why do you think that is? If that's even a question, but it just seems like you're prolific. There's a prolific musicians.
I think part of it is, first of all, I feel like there's a certain amount of percentage, no matter where you go, a certain amount of a percentage of musicians is going to be great. In Israel, it's a smaller country, so it's smaller percentage, but maybe the percentage is higher. I think really the reason for it is the competition. There's so much competition there that people kind of have to be better than the other ones. It's what I love, and it's a love-hate relationship that I have with Israel. It's such a dog-eat-dog world out there that that you learn how to survive and you learn how to kick ass. Therefore, so many great musicians and so many great high-tech companies, and like, they learn how to kick ass. But it's also
survival of the fittest.
Yeah, exactly. But it's also constantly survival of the fittest. There's almost no, like, dude, let's just relax and have a conversation. I mean, it exists, but there's always a dog-eat-dog tension there. I tell people, and I'm not dogging Israel because it's still where my family is, where I'm from. And I said, it's just a love-hate relationship, where I feel like America is a lot of win-win. I feel like you could win, and we could both have a great conversation, and everything's great. I feel like in Israel, unfortunately, because of the competition, it's always a win-lose. Like, there's not enough room for you and me to be in the same place. There just isn't enough. There isn't enough music. There isn't enough market for music. There isn't enough land for the Palestinians and the Israelis. Like, it's the whole mentality there. Unfortunately, not everyone, but it's just kind of an ambience there that it's like, look, we could get in a conversation, but either I'm winning or you're winning. There is no way that we can both agree.
Yeah, I totally get that.
And again, it's not. It's just something that's in there in the atmosphere.
Yeah, I understand that. Somebody else mentioned to me, I don't know, it might have. Do you know Guy King?
I don't know.
He's a blues player from Israel. He lives in Chicago. Very good blues. I think he might have said that something about competition is so stiff.
It is.
Yeah, but I think my experience working with musicians has been great. I'm not a musician, though. There's no competition. But I have heard from guys that in different pockets, and my observation of just you guys interacting with each other is really good, too. I think everybody's pretty supportive. But I know I have heard from guys here in the States saying there are pockets where it is very competitive at times. Very
competitive. And I mean, yeah, it's just, I mean, I had a specific story in mind, but it really doesn't matter. You know what? I'll tell the story. I won't name any names. It's a producer that I spoke to. I reached out to when I had gotten here, and I kind of asked him, hey, I want to do this thing. I spoke to a lot of people. It's what I do about anything. When I want to get into something, I talk to a lot of people about something that we could talk about later. It's one of my philosophies about how anyone should get into anything. And it's called, like, it's not called, I didn't coin this, but talk to a pro is what I call it. And I talked to a few pros. One of them was this Israeli producer who basically just told me, yeah, man, it's just not going to happen. You might as well give up now. And I was like,
wow. Like when you first got here, he told you that?
yeah. I mean, he never even met me. We were just talking on the phone. Someone connected us. He doesn't know how I play. He's just like, yeah, it's just too hard. It's not going to happen. I was just like, really? That's the best, like,
Yeah,
okay.
that's day one. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
our initial comment. Wow.
And I actually never even met him in person. What was the point? I mean, someone introduced us. He had a really bad attitude, and that was it. But he's the only one that ever did that. And looking back, he was wrong. Thankfully.
Yeah, right. Wow, man. Plus, was he older than you?
Yes, older and successful.
Yeah, see, that's really a dick move because, like, as you get older, like I know myself, when I talk to somebody younger, the most important thing I want to encourage them is to not just keep doing, you can't control the outcome, but keep working hard and believe in yourself and do what you're doing, making connections, and it'll happen, not overnight, but over time. And that's really weird because I would think, like most of the guys I know my age kind of feel the same. Like, you want to like spare somebody else some unnecessary pain, whether it's actual financial, emotional work, and that's really weird. So that guy's just a dick.
Yeah, as it turns out. But and he happened to have been Israeli. I don't think it was an Israeli thing necessarily.
No.
But
Yeah.
I feel like you're always going to find, I've had very supportive Israeli people here, and I've had people that were very not supportive. So,
yes.
I'm just
saying. It has nothing to do with it's just the people. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's too bad, man.
Yeah. Thankfully, but like I said, thankfully he was wrong.
Yeah. You want to out him? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm just kidding. So what made you come to the States, and was it hard to do from a paperwork standpoint, visas and everything? And what made you pick LA?
Great question. What made me come to the States? I'll try to answer that in parts. What made me come to the States was actually kind of mingle them. My parents are from New York.
Oh, okay.
There you go. This is why I don't sound like the rest of the Israeli musicians, We can do the rest of the interview like this if you want.
The Zohan.
Yeah, exactly. Don't mess with the Zohan. It's my wife and I, one of our favorite movies.
It's a great movie.
It's so good. No.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
oh my God, had the accent like so. I mean, like you're from there, but oh my God, that was like so perfect.
In Israel in '79, and raised with English at home and Hebrew everywhere else in the country, as well as school.
Right.
So I got both of them. I got both. It's funny right now. I got both languages, but I've lost a lot of the Hebrew. And what I mean is, it's not, I remember everything, but it's a little foreign to me to speak in Hebrew now.
Sure.
I speak to Israelis all the time. One of my favorite luthiers, the guy that makes.
Oh yeah, the guy you told me about, Shabbat.
Yeah. Avi, I mean, I know him from Israel, and we speak Hebrew 90% of the time. So
that's cool.
But the thing that I lost was something that you don't have in English. You have in Spanish, though, is female and male.
Yes.
They're different. The way you say it is different depending on if the subject is a male subject or a female subject.
Yeah.
So I sort of lost that. Like when you're talking about numbers, if it's like a week will be male, so you have to say male numbers. But I don't know, a girl would be female, so you'd say, oh, I met this 3 girls. Well, it's shalosh or shlosha, and I constantly find myself struggling with that. I haven't done it in so long, I kind of forgot it. But English is not my native tongue either, so I struggle in both languages now, just a little.
The English sounds great, man. I wouldn't.
Thank you.
I would never like talk to you and say, man, this guy struggles with English, like ever. You sound fine, man. Yeah.
Well, you see, where it really comes out is something that I'm interested. We were just talking about the next generation and kind of passing it on, and that's where I am in my life. I'm about to turn 40 this year, and
dude, you're kidding me.
No, thank you.
I thought you were in your early 30s at most. That's great, man. You look good.
So thank you. So I'm looking. I've been looking for years, and I have been passing the torch on. And because a lot of people help me, and I want to help a lot of people.
Sure, man.
But one of the ways to do that is to go and speak in front of groups. And I am awful at that. I have such terrible anxiety from public speaking. It's crazy. And the thing that happens to me, that's where I really get caught off guard, where I want to say something and I'm just like, I'm saying something and I'm thinking, wait, did I just say that right? Did I use it right? I get all confused and totally off track. And then I'm just like deer in the headlights. Where the hell was I? The train has completely left the tracks. It's in Florida now, and I'm in LA. So that's where
because of your anxiety, not
Yeah.
because, that'd be like me playing guitar on stage.
Exactly, in front of 80,000 people. Like I can, like people tell me that one of my favorite authors and a good friend, Scott, man, what's his last name? I'm forgetting right now. But he wrote a book a long time ago called Unmarketing. And at the end of it, I read it, and the idea of it is stop marketing and start engaging. Like marketing, calling cold calls is done. Like start engaging people and listening to them and giving them what they need and want. And great book. He's written a few since then. I can't say, he just wrote one that I cannot wait for it to come out. Can't say what it is, but Scott, he's Canadian, and him and his wife wrote this book on marketing. And at the end, he's like, it's basically kind of focuses on Twitter as a format. And he said, if anyone wants to hit me up, hit me up. And I was playing with Smash Mouth at the time. It was like 2013 or 14. And I hit him up. I was like, hey, I'm the guitarist Smash Mouth. Just read your book. I'm in an airport. Loved it. We've kept in touch since.
Oh, that's cool.
And he's
have you met him in person?
Yeah, I have met him in person when I was in Canada. I keep missing him in Vegas. We're literally doing 2 shows in Vegas in a month, and he shows up the next day. And and it's in like a 5-day. He's a keynote speaker, so now he does a lot of that. And so he can't show up early to Vegas, and we're just not going to see him. I wonder if we could stay an extra day. I just gave myself an idea.
There you go, man. Write that down.
Yeah. Let's see. Why did I bring him up though?
About speaking and being paralyzed in front of an audience.
So of course, that's one of the people. He has this, we were talking about it when I met him and his wife. He has, Allison, he has he does not have the gene that makes people anxious. He will get up in front of the 80,000 people. No problem. Make jokes, completely fail, make jokes, completely succeed. Doesn't matter to him. It doesn't get, he's got zero. He doesn't have that. It doesn't, man, I wish. But as you said, and as many people have said, well, I can't get up and play guitar by myself in front of 80,000 people or even 100 people. And I was like, fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. You give me a guitar and a job, like not just like, hey, go do your thing. It's like, no, I need to know what I'm doing and prepare. I'm not going to go blind on a stage, but yeah, I feel much more comfortable with the guitar in back of an artist or as part of a group. And I'll play in front of, I'll play in front of 150,000. I get no problems, no anxiety.
Right.
But to get back to your original question, born and raised in Israel to American parents. So me and my siblings, I got 3 younger brothers.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Holy shit.
So we're all Americanized since our parents took us to the council or whatever, the consulate, and got us all American passports. Okay. So I always knew that I wanted, when I became a musician, I always had this, and I was driving, I was 17. I was driving, I was on a bus going back and forth to sound school in Tel Aviv from Jerusalem, where I lived. And every time I went by Ben Gurion Airport, I was just like, I saw a plane take off and I'd just be like, it's going to be me one day. I don't know. I got a feeling. I think I need to go. I think I need to explore that. And I really attribute this in a way to my parents, who left their whole family and all their friends and their whole lives back in New York and went and made a life in Israel. They kind of followed their heart as Jews. They always learned about living in Israel as Jews and in Jewish school or Hebrew school. And they felt, you know what, enough talk. Let's actually follow it up with some action.
Good for them, man. Are they still there?
They're still there. Yeah. Whole family is still there. And I did the same thing. I followed my heart. I felt like, man, just there's something about America that I need to explore as a musician or as a sound engineer. There's something very limited about Israel. It's just, you can see the ceiling. It's right there. But in LA, the ceiling is, there is no ceiling. It's like the sky's the limit.
That's
the
interesting.
atmosphere is the limit. So, so I always kind of felt like I was going to go there. As a citizen, I didn't have any visa issues. I didn't need to go through the whole process. And then what led me to making the move was eventually, even though I didn't feel like I was ready to go from the lake into the ocean, I really felt like it was during the second Intifada. Do you know much about Intifada and what's going on? Not much of a political thing, but
no, kind of. I'm really limited on any, like, did that happen after 1970?
Mm-hmm.
Very similar to, just kidding.
Yes, sir.
Anything after 1970, I don't know. No, I'm really, can I be honest? I haven't watched news in 35 years.
Wow.
So I am like, choose to be ignorant on, because it's just, I don't like negative.
I know. My brother Yoni's the same way. He chooses not to partake in it, and I totally get it.
Yeah.
There are times in my life where I wake up and CNN is in the background while I'm getting my stuff done. And there are times in my life, like right now, I think maybe 6 months now, I haven't paid attention to anything. It's a little too much, especially now with the internet, and I'm getting blasted on my phone with, I mean, every little thing. I follow the news in Israel, and and because so many things happen, I kind of want to be updated pretty quick. So I'm on this app called Hamal, Cheder Milchama, War Room in Hebrew. And it gives you things as they happen. I usually know when there's any kind of terrorist attack in America before it's on any of the networks.
Because of this app.
I'll know. Like, I was on tour and we had there was a shooting in Thousand Oaks. Some guy walked into a country night at a bar, at a club, and just started shooting people maybe half a year ago. And I knew it happened. I don't even know where I was in the world, but I was in Europe, I remember, because it was daytime. I just woken up and I saw this just happen, and it was nighttime in America. And I hit up friends of mine. I was like, let me know you're okay. Because I have friends that live there and country friends that live there. So I kind of hit up some people, but I looked on CNN. It wasn't. The point is, I get updates. A lot of things pop up from that, and it's a lot. But the Intifada, it was basically a very simple. Look at this. I'm just playing with a pen.
I noticed that, man. I was impressed with that. I like.
What is going on?
No, it's not on your face, dude. You're with me. Your bar is low. You could look pretty bad and still look good. Don't worry.
Thank you. I'll take it. So. There were a few intifadas. You know how there was a first and second Gulf War? You familiar with the
sort of? I mean, this is embarrassing. I don't like process.
It's totally cool.
It's ignorant, but I'm okay.
So there was also a first and second Intifada, which was just a war from the Palestinian side and the Israeli side. We don't have to get into who's right, who's wrong, because they're both right and they're both wrong.
Yeah.
But that happened. The second one was happening from 2000 to 2004. And buses were blowing up left and right. People were dying. The problem with those is, like, these days, they go after soldiers. They go after police officers. And that is one thing, because it's a terrible thing. I mean, just a week ago or a few days ago, 4 or 5 days ago, last week, let's say, there was what is it called? Like just where they stop you and you go through a scan, like a metal detection. There was one of those in the old city in Israel, in Jerusalem. And have you ever been to Israel, by the way?
I have not, because of all everybody I know who goes there loves it, but I'd be really leery about going to a place where, like, with all this fighting. Man,
It's
it's like, I'm going away on vacation. The last thing I need is freaking bombs going off somewhere. I could just see my wife like, well, we're going right now,
Yep.
like,
Yeah, I can see that. No, I know. Trust me, I understand.
I don't know how, I'll be honest with you. I don't know how people who grow up in that region,
Yeah.
the coping skills that you have to acquire at a very young age to accept like shit blowing up down the street. That is like, I grew up in New York in the 70s. People said, oh, that was really rough. And that was a cakewalk compared to what you're talking about. Honestly, man. I mean, it's really,
It's heavy.
yeah, it's totally, I mean, completely foreign.
Yeah, it's very heavy. It's something that I grew up with. I mean, I don't talk about this much, not because we just never get to it. So why not use your podcast I had an experience. I mean, feel like everyone in our family has had a near death or right near a car blowing up or someone shooting. Like we've all been near terrorist attacks.
Holy, that's like,
my experience was, and I'll keep it short. I was probably 19 going, it's a Friday night. My family's religious. So someone picked me up. I was living with them at the time, I think. And I went downtown. So religious meaning on Friday and Saturday, they don't talk on the phone. You can't really reach out to them or anything like that. And we went downtown. We parked somewhere in a very, very busy, it was a lot of pubs, a lot of restaurants, very busy area downtown in Jerusalem. And we got out of the car and 10 feet away from us, there's a car that looks like it's going into a parking spot, but it's acting really weird. Like it's continuing to go, like it's trying to kind of go into a group of people very slowly, like not trying to run people over. That only started happening a few years ago. But yeah, this was just really weird. And a guy gets out of the driver's seat with his legs on fire and runs.
What do you mean his legs on fire?
His legs on fire. Imagine you're watching a movie. That's he walks out of the car. His legs are on fire.
Driver or passenger?
Huh?
Driver.
Driver. There's only one guy there. Driver.
So
and the car is still moving. And cops and soldiers, because this is the state you live in. The cops and soldiers all around all the time. And so they take off, and we just bail out. I didn't know what happened. We didn't have iPhones and different smartphones back then. So I had no idea what happened until the next day, because I couldn't come home and turn on it. It was a car bomb that didn't go off. Like the charge went off or something like that. And I was 10 feet away from him, and I would have been ripped apart. So, I mean, yeah, I got lucky.
Wow, I got lucky. Man. Hang on, let me just get my head around this.
Process that, huh?
Yeah, man, that's really fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, it makes me think of, people here like piss and moan because, the condo made me pull out my flowers. Man, just fucking shut up and pull them out, because you could be living in Jerusalem, your fucking house blown. I mean, seriously, it's like when you relate a story like that, that is stress. Well, that is stress.
Yeah. So that wasn't the one, the terrorist attack that got me to move, but that was a close call that I had. When to me, it hits me kind of like what you just said, but it hits me when people talk about TSA. Now, TSA, and I'm not making this up. The tests have shown when TSA is put to the test, they fail a lot of time.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not making it up. It's known knowledge.
Yeah.
But go ahead, use your wand on me. Let me go through the metal detector. I don't care. You want me to take my laptop out? I will take my laptop. You want me to take my shoes off? By all means. I don't care. As long as I get on that plane and get on it and land where I'm supposed to. That's all I care about.
I know.
So whereas a lot of people might piss and moan, TSA, they maybe take my laptop out. It's like, I don't care. Like, do whatever you have to do as long as I get where I need to safely.
Well, the thing is, bitching about that is like bitching about the cost of lettuce. Like, what is it you're going to do about that? I mean, like,
Exactly.
realistically, it's just, it's like, the cost of gasoline. I mean, is it high? I don't know. Whatever it is, it is. It's like, just, put it in your car and move on.
But it's something else. It's an appreciation. I have an appreciation for, even if they're not doing a great job, and even if they are doing a great job, there is at least they're trying.
Intent.
Yes, there's an intent to prevent future terrorist attacks, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Where it came from.
Holy smokes!
The actual terrorist attack that I've said many times, and it's on my Wikipedia and stuff, but I think it's on my Wikipedia. But the terrorist attack that got me here, man, we are in question number 2, and it's been like what, half an hour?
Don't worry about it, man. It's all good. It's only bad if it's boring, and this is definitely not boring. So don't worry.
Awesome. So the terrorist attack that got me here was, I was in Jerusalem driving downtown to meet some friends, and in Tel Aviv, 45 minutes away, a guy blew up. He tried to get into a bar, and the guard stopped him. And I believe the guard passed away from that attack, and someone else did as well. But the point is, the guy could have killed 30 people inside that bar because of the way bombs, when they're inside, the way the shock, the shock just travels within a closed environment. It destroys a lot of people from the inside out. Like, even if you're not by the bomb directly, the shock, the organs just, they get demolished.
That you even know this information is to be honest with you. I mean, like, we're just talking about fishing. Most people here are like, well, when the waves, that, you're thinking about, seriously, like, when you're fishing and how the waves move, and where you got to cast your lure or your bait, not like, this is like just a foreign world. I've never been exposed to any of this, man. It's really
that's why a lot of the attacks that happened on buses back in the day, which got me to get my license, because I was like, fuck this, I don't want to get on buses anymore. This is just intense. Buses were blowing up every week, and in a bus, it's a closed environment, and people were just getting wrecked. But if you blow up outside, the pressure dissipates into the air. Like, people will get injured, people might get killed, but there can be a lot less damage,
more chance of survival,
a lot more lives spared. So the guard stopped him. I believe the guard and another guy died, and a few of my friends were actually there, but I didn't know that at the time. All I knew was there, and they didn't die, they got injured. But Mike's Place, this happened in Mike's Place in Tel Aviv. It was like an Israeli-American vibe. I used to perform in Mike's Place when I was 15, 16, 17. I performed at Mike's Place in Jerusalem. And there were only 2. Mike's Place in Jerusalem was first, and then they opened one in Tel Aviv. In 2003, someone tried to blow up Mike's Place in Tel Aviv. It's on the boardwalk there. And I'm listening to this happening live on the radio, listening to the news, driving to meet down with some people in Jerusalem, and I'm just driving thinking, dude, I think it's time. I think I gotta go. Like, whether I'm ready or not, I don't feel like I'm ready. I'm not as good as I can be, but dude, I could get my arm could get chopped off.
You're alive. Yeah, right.
Yeah, like, I gotta go.
That is a huge decision, man. I give you a lot of credit for that, man.
Thanks.
That's a tough one. And because all your 3 brothers were still there.
Yeah, my 3 brothers are still there. In fact, I waited for my brother Yoni to get married. He was getting married. I think this happened in April. I left in June. Yeah, I worked all of May crazy hard. Sound engineer and lighting and all kinds of stuff. I worked to make as much money as I could. I came to America with $10,000. That I made a lot of it in that month.
Right.
And in June, my brother got married, and then a week later, I left.
Wow. Are your brothers all there as well?
My Yoni and his wife and his 2 kids are in Amstelville. They're in, where is that? Amsterdam, in the Netherlands right now. It's next to Amsterdam, about 10 minutes away. I just saw them when I was there with Enrique like last year.
Cool.
So they're there his wife is studying acting or teaching. She's a great actor, but she also teaches it. So I'm not sure, but she's working on a master's there. And so they have the family there for a few years while she's doing the program there. And but other than that, my other brothers are in Israel.
Wow.
Different places, married, kids, everyone. And I'm here.
How long, so when did you move here?
So 2003, June 2003. And I chose LA. I had two options in my mind, LA or New York. Now, New York, I have a lot of family. My grandparents were there. My grandfather's still there. A lot of uncles, aunts, a lot of support.
And you got Osnoy.
Yes, which I still have yet to meet, although we're in the same circles. Yeah, I just don't play that style. And every time that he's here doing a show, I get invited, and I'm somewhere else in the world.
He's so funny. He has a very thick, not very thick, but his accent is stronger. And he goes, "Hey man, how about you come next time? We go have a slice."
That almost sounds. I
was like, okay, cool.
Like Borat.
Yeah, he's like that was my bad image probably of his accent.
How about you? We go have a slice. I get it.
Oh my God.
So LA. So yeah, I could go hang with Osnoy, but that's a very good point. Oz is a beast.
Yeah.
I felt like two things, a few reasons why I came to LA. First of all, I felt like weather-wise is a lot more like Israel.
Yeah.
And going to a place with such humidity, now Tel Aviv is very humid, but I'm from Jerusalem. LA is much more like Jerusalem weather. There's hot, there's cold, there's barely any snow ever, unless you go to the peaks of the mountains. So I thought the climate would be much more alluring to me, and driving around rather than getting on, like the idea of getting on subways and stuff with a bunch of gear wasn't really attractive to me. But the biggest thing was, it's because of Osnoy and people like him that I did not go to New York, because I felt like, with all due respect to myself as a musician, I felt like to make it in New York, you got to be a beast. You got to be an amazing guitarist. And I am a fine guitarist, but I am not a New York guitarist. I am a rock guitarist. I'm a blues guy. I'm a funk guy, but I'm a rock guitarist. I got up there and fucking bring it.
Yeah.
But I'm a rock guitarist. I'm not going to blow you away. I'm not going to shred you're not going to just be like, oh my God, did you see Sean Hurwitz play? Oh my God. No, I do my job very well. And that's why I get hired. Because I do it very well, consistently, every night. But New York, I thought was a little too much for me. I felt like LA, the city, the land of rock and roll. Yeah. I felt like this was better fit for me. And I was correct. So I came to LA. I knew one family here. It was the Stein family. They had two Israeli parents, Isla and Leah, that moved to LA a long time ago and had an only child, Donna. And when they came once a year to America, to Israel to visit, I kind of fell for their daughter, Donna, who lives in next to New Orleans, or in New Orleans now these days. And they always told me they were such a sweet family. And they always said, if you ever come to LA, mi casa es su casa. Yeah. So
they said that with an Israeli accent.
No, not exactly.
No, I'm just teasing.
They invited me to their home. So when I decided LA, I called them up and I said, hey, I want to take you up on it. It's now a good time. And they're like, well, Isla was just diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. But come on. So they regardless, they had me over. And Isla he had about another year of living. And they all took care of me, and Isla specifically. I didn't have credit. I was under 24. I was 23, so you can't get a car without someone signing off for you. I didn't have any credit, so it's really hard to get a phone. Man, he took me out like day one. We got me a phone under his name, and then I moved it onto my name. He helped me get a credit card, like a secure credit card. Yeah. He helped me rent a car so I could go buy a car, so I could go get a license, so I could go to job interviews. I couldn't have done it without that family.
That's really nice.
And that's it. and I was with them for a few days, and then I found my own place and moved into a place, and that's it. So half an hour on the first to second question. What else you got for me?
Let me ask you this. You have a pretty good work ethic, obviously, like a really good work ethic. And to be that young and that confident is really cool. Where did all that come from?
That's a good question. I think part of it is Israel. I think
the competitive
competition. Yeah. And then part of it, I'm sure, was my parents, seeing them always work hard. You know, they're always frugal with money, and they worked hard. They always hustled and tried to make things happen, and for us. And I think I picked up on that. But other than that, I think at a young age in Israel, I was a freelance. By the time I was 18, I was already a freelance sound engineer and lighting engineer and backline tech. And I mean, I was one of the guys there at the time. I had a career. By the way, when I left for America, I had a great career in Israel. Could have done that to this day. Had a great career and left all of it to start from scratch. So that was a scary thought.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's really like a major decision.
Yeah, I mean, it was, but it was also backed with, you know what? If it doesn't work, I've always got somewhere to come back to.
Right, right.
But I don't know really if there's a specific spot. I think from about 16, 17, I just became a hard worker. Maybe I talked to a pro and found out that that's what it takes. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I am a hard worker. Thank you for acknowledging that. My work ethic is what I do hold that accountable for a lot of the things that have happened to me. But for instance, where do you see that in action? And I tell this to people who say, hey, I'm thinking about moving to LA. What do you think? And I tell them, you should know, first of all, there's 1 million of you here. So no matter who you are in Israel, no matter who you are in Africa or Luxembourg or London, doesn't matter who you are, there's 1 million of you here that are better looking, that are younger, that are better guitarists or artists or songwriters, whatever it is you do, there's 1 million that are better than you. Now that I told you that, here's the good news. If you work hard, there is a spot for you here. Some other places where you're coming from, there isn't enough of a market to sustain the amount of people that want to do this. LA, if you put in your time, if you pay your dues, I can 95% guarantee you that you will end up with a career here, even though there's 1 million of you. Because although there are 1 million of you here, or 1 million of me here, they don't necessarily have that work ethic.
That's the vet, man. That's the vetting process for everything.
That is what separates the men from the boys.
Yeah. I agree with you.
I felt, I felt that, for better or for worse, 2007, when that whole crash happened, when the market, you remember that, right? You know about that.
Yeah. Well, that I was impacted by, so I had no choice.
There you go. So you were aware.
I had to be had a high level of awareness in there. Yeah.
So when that happened, I feel like it separated the men from the boys and the women from the girls in Los Angeles artist scene. Because if you were here living off daddy's money, you went back home.
Yeah, because daddy ran out.
Yeah, exactly. Daddy, there are different, more important things right now. You went back home. But if you built an infrastructure here where you could sustain yourself, you stayed in LA. And I felt like that happened. That's one of the things that happened.
What did you do for work when you first got to town? Like, how did you
so the work ethic thing, the first day I landed at 11 o'clock in the morning or something like that, or I got to their house at 11 from the airport. They said, do you want to eat anything? Do you want to shower? I showered, I ate something, and I said, okay, guys, where can I get a paper or something? I need to find a car. I need to find a place to live. I need to find a job. I need to get a cell phone, those 4 things. But cell phone, you just go to a store. So they told me there's a recycler. You get a recycler magazine. I don't know if you remember those. Down the road.
They don't have those here.
No.
Yeah.
So just one of those things where you can find all these things. And they said this one down the road. That's when I learned that down the road, 5 minutes down the road in LA is not what 5 minutes down the road is in Israel. I was walking for half an hour. They
Oh
meant
my God.
5 minutes in a car.
Oh, right.
Yeah, LA is not made for walking.
Interesting.
So that was my first lesson about LA. But so by 4:00, I already had like marked places to call for a car, places to call for a house, places to go, or a place to live in, places to call for work. And that was the work ethic. That was like, I'm not here to fuck around. Let's go. I got
Well, that's also a
$10,000.
responsibility too, which tends to go hand in hand with people that have a work ethic. They're not looking for somebody else to be. You're assumptive of your own responsibility.
I had $10,000. I knew that was going to disappear very fast, and I need to supplement that. I needed income coming in. I was not going to spend more than a few days with this family. As much as I appreciate it, I need to find my own place and get it moving. So that's the way I came here. And that's when I tell people that tell me, hey, we're going to come to LA. That's what I say to them. I was like, you got to know, there's one thing you need to know other than what I just said to you about there's a million of you, but if you put in the time and the work and pay your dues, there is a career here to be made. There's enough work for everyone. I love that about LA. The other thing that you got to know is you can't come here testing the water. Like you can come here for a testing the waters thing, but LA is not a forgiving town. LA is a work town. The people that work here are the people that have put in the time. Sometimes they're just idiots that are amazing. They look great or very sexy. So but for the most part, the people here have put the time in, and it is a working town, and it will spit you out unless you come here with intent. So when you come here, I tell people, come ready to make it happen. Like, I had friends that came here like, I want to come try this and try that. And I'm like, okay, but come here with, get ready to go. And they're like, well, I gave it 2 weeks. I'm going to go to San Diego and
a whole 2 weeks.
I gave it 2 weeks. I met some people. I'm going to go to San Diego while I'm here. Then I'm going to hit Vegas and San Francisco. Then I'll come back for another few weeks and we'll see how it goes. And I'm like, nah, dude. No one I know that came with that attitude has succeeded in LA.
Yeah. But anything. That's like saying, man, I tried this diet. I started Monday. I still hadn't lost anything by Wednesday. I changed it.
Yeah, exactly. You got to put in the time. You got to put in the effort.
I was in the gym for a whole week and my body didn't change. Oh my God. Yeah. Was there any, even though it sounds like pretty Americanized between your folks and just the culture, the musical vibe that you were in Israel, was there any like cultural differences that were like, oh wow, or funny or stuff like that?
I mean, the only cultural difference is, in my mind, and the reason why I like, how do I put this? I like the culture in America more than the culture in Israel. And what I mean is what I was talking about, that win-win mentality.
Yeah, okay.
Like, this is not indicative of all Americans or all Israelis, but in general, I found that in Israel, so in America, not everywhere, but most times when I go into a store or I leave a store, I'll look, is there anyone behind me? Oh, there is. I'll leave the store and I'll keep the door open. They will say, thank you. I will say, you're welcome. This was a nice transaction. I like starting my day like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas Israel, it's just not like that. And Israel, it's funny because Israel, one of the reasons some people dislike LA is because it's so-called fake. People are fake. When they say thank you, they're fake. When they say this, they're fake. When they're being nice to you, they're fake. I don't find that correct. Sometimes that exists in every culture. I think people are generally nice here and genuinely nice here. I think in Israel, it's a lot deeper. Like, people will run into, I had a friend of mine, I was in Israel, and he said to me, he said, you know what I don't like about LA? He was here for a while. He's like, if you're walking down the street and someone else is walking down and he bumps into you, you both say, I'm sorry. what the fuck is that? That's bullshit. He ran into you. And it's just like,
He's got a lot of time on his hands, man.
Yeah, it's not like that. Like when I bump into someone, even if it's their fault, I'm not gonna be like, what the fuck, man? Like,
it's just like, excuse me, sorry, whatever. You just keep.
Yeah, there's no reason to get all aggro. It's
yeah, that's a bit.
Sorry,
a
sorry.
lot of
This
free
happened.
time on his hands.
Okay,
man.
I'm cool. You're good. Good. We're good. But it really bothered him, and that's the mentality there on that level.
Like they should be apologizing to him. Wow, that's a lot of work over something completely insignificant.
But that's something that really bothered him. He felt that was fake. And I'm like, no, dude, if someone bumps into me, I'm genuinely sorry I was in his way. Like I could have been watching where I was stepping better.
Yeah.
Even though they were on their phone. But I don't think that way. But Israelis do have the Middle Eastern culture. So on that level, there's a lot of like, I'm not going to say thanks if you open the door for me, whatever. But on a much deeper level, the family and culture values on a deep level are very strong, strong, more than LA. So I'll give you so it's kind of like that. So in LA, I might go to someone's house. Not that I care, but coming from Israel, I might go to someone's house and they won't offer me something to drink or something to nosh on, some food or, I don't know, something, some nuts. They won't offer me that when I'm in their house. I don't care. But in Israel, are you kidding? That's the first thing. What can I get for you? You are a guest in my home. I'm going to take care of you.
Interesting how you have this plus
it's a Middle Eastern, it's a Middle Eastern thing where on a much deeper level, when you're in my home, I will treat you, I will take care of you, anything that you want, I will. So that's a Middle Eastern thing. So they may not be as kind with the thank you and you're welcome and I'm so glad you.
Yeah.
They may not be as kind with those day-to-day transactions that happen on a minute-to-minute basis. But on a deeper level, the community and family values are very deep. They're very deep.
I find that, to be very honest with you, it's not just Middle Eastern cultures. I find, look, I grew up in New York City where nobody was like, everybody's from someplace else, every country in the world. And most of the families there and all my friends, I have a good friend in San Diego. He's Lebanese. I have one of my close friends is Puerto Rican in Hollywood on the other coast of Florida. Most of my friends throughout my whole life, it seems, have not been like, a lot of them have been ethnic families, either from different countries or maybe they're first generation American. And I noticed, to be perfectly honest with you, that is more prevalent than in white America, to be perfectly honest with you. Now, I'm really close with my kids. I talk to them all the time, like almost daily. But if I'm totally honest, the sense of duty is not there. And I think that word duty is probably a good use of it, because in other cultures, they feel an obligation to serve and connect intentionally. Whereas here, I think we tend to take it for granted more. Like, oh yeah, we're close. But yeah, that being said, if there's certain things you do together, and I'm guilty of that myself, there is a greater unity amongst kids, you know, like my buddy was, my friend who's Lebanese lives in San Diego. He was saying, he's got 2 little girls, and he was saying something about, his kid's a little now, but I said, hey man, wait till your daughters get to be 13. I said, it's going to be a challenge, because Garber, I'm not white. I'm not going to have to deal with that. Like, we're an ethnic, his wife's Costa Rican. He's like, we're an ethnic family. We're not going to take that shit. Everybody's in check. And, I was like, man, I forgot. I get it. And it's true. It's totally, it's just the expectations, I think, are set differently. And the expectation is like much more family respected and family oriented, if I'm 100% honest.
Family and
community, I think.
Community, yes.
I think that's a good word, what you said. It's funny, I had a guy on the show, Laurent Medelji. He is he's from Paris and he lived in New York for a while.
Mhm.
And I asked him, I said, what was the biggest change? He goes, when I lived in New York, he goes, I'll be honest with you, it was really weird. I would have people over my house all the time, and I kept waiting to get invited to their house, and nobody ever invited me. Because I had like dozens of people like all the time. And he goes, and finally I was like, I was really hurt. Like I said, dude, they're not inviting anybody.
Yeah. It's not you. It's just the culture.
Right. He goes, I realized that, but when it was happening, I was really, hurt. Cause like, I thought, here I am trying to ingratiate myself. And that's what we do in Paris. I said, yeah, years ago in the 70s, like people would have each other over the house.
Because they were from different, the communities were still very Italian and very, like it was,
yes,
it was a community thing.
Right. And now it's not, people just don't do that. People don't. In fact, I've got invited to parties, and this really pisses me off. If I have a party at my house, I don't make you bring shit. I've got invited to parties with my wife, like, and it's not a financial thing because some of these places are like super affluent and they make you bring food. And I'm like, fuck that. It's like how rude. I find that rude.
It's a culture thing. It's just a culture thing. But you can't.
Who does that shit?
But that's the thing is you.
Hey man, we're having a party. Bring your own shit and come over. Like, what the fuck? Are you serious? That's not a party. That's like, what are we, 12? And we don't have enough money we're all gonna like bring our own 6-packs with us so we can get fucked up because we all can't afford. It's like.
Yeah, and no matter where so on that note, no matter where I am financially, good year, bad year, if someone comes into my town, I'm taking them out to lunch, dinner.
Yes, I'm the same way. That when someone comes to town, and I like a musician, I meet him, I'm always, or most of the time paying, because they're here. That's just like, what you normally do. But it's so I totally get that. Yeah, it's really weird.
It's different, but again, there's a family thing in Israel, so the bottom is taken care of. But then on the surface, it's very hard to get people to, say thank you, be appreciative. Everyone kind of walks around, and I'm being very general, obviously, there are exceptions to the rule, but a lot of people walk around with a stink face, like stank face. When I walked around in Israel, you wouldn't come to the way I looked on the street walking around. Dude, you're not coming to me to ask me what time it is. You're not coming to me for instructions. Don't even talk to me. Like that's the vibe I give off, and that's the vibe everyone kind of gives off in America. Israel. But and to be honest, you can attest to this or disagree with me, or agree with me or disagree with me. But that's something that I also saw in New York. New York.
Oh yeah. But you have to realize, at least in New York, everybody's preoccupied with something. There's so much stress that is your subway going to be on time? I'm not excusing the behavior.
No, I get it.
I'm just saying why it is. Is your subway going to be on time? Is there going to be air conditioning in it? Do you have to move your car alternate side of the street parking? Is it going to be cold? Is your heat working? Is your air conditioning working? Is your landlord going to raise it?
But that sounds, between us, doesn't that sound like being an adult?
I agree. I agree, but that's just an angry place. But like I go there, right? It's really funny, and I don't pay any attention to any of that. If I want to talk to someone, I talk, and everybody's super friendly. I never pay attention. I'm that guy, like your buddy could speak, because I speak occasionally. Right. It used to be marketing things. Now I'm speaking about I just got asked to host this thing they're having in Nashville, and awesome. My wife was like, "How many people are there?" I said, "Like 300 plus." She goes, "Are you nervous?" I'm like, "No." She goes, "Why?" I said, "Because I don't care. If I fuck up, I fuck up." Like. Now I couldn't play guitar because I'm not proficient at that, but I could talk.
Right.
It's kind of like the same thing as you. That's your competency. So it's like, man, I'll rock. You'll do that anywhere. And plus, like I said, if I mess up, I don't like. Okay, what's going to happen?
Yeah, for me, it's like the end of the world if I mess up in a situation like that.
Totally get it.
Not with a guitar. With a guitar, I could mess up and you wouldn't even know because I will gloss over it. But with talking points. I'm like I said, deer in the headlights. I'm just like, oh my God, where was I? I don't even remember what I was talking about. I gotta go. Bye. But
I totally get that. It's intimidating.
To wrap up what we were saying is one of the reasons. So LA to me may not have that bottom thing where people invite you all the time to their house and stuff like that. But, or when you go to someone's house, they're not going to necessarily just offer you something to drink. And
well, dude, if you come here, I'll offer you something to drink.
thank you. I appreciate it.
I do that normally.
But I love the top line of it. Not, so there isn't much on the bottom, but the top of it, I love. I love the fact that people are nice to each other, that people are just pleasant to each other. To me, that's the beauty of LA. Some people call it fake. Some people realize that it's not. But the point is, I don't care. I like being places where someone is considerate and will say thank you and be considerate. Now, my wife will tell you everyone on the road drives like assholes. And she does have a point to a certain extent, but not compared to Israel. In Israel, you have to be such an aggressive driver. There's less room. You have to get on a sidewalk and just shove your way in. You can't be gentle about it. That's the vibe in Israel. You have to be aggressive on the road, on everywhere. Whereas here, she sees a lot of assholes on the road, and yes, they do exist. I'm on the road less, but when I get on the road, I also see, considering where I come from, I also see a lot of people that when I turn on my blinker, the signal, they just
they let you in.
Push back and let me in. It's like, thank you. I appreciate that. The fact that I didn't have to fight with someone on the freeway, I like that. That makes me feel good. You know, it's a nice vibe to be around. And I feel like I was just talking about this with someone else. To me, LA is a city of dreamers, and I feel like people come here with dreams, and that's what I take. That's the atmosphere that I live in here. I just feel like land of sunshine, beautiful trees, Burbank, Hollywood I couldn't care less for. That's for tourists. But you go to Burbank, Pasadena, got rolling hills everywhere, beautiful. It could be greener, but we just don't have enough rain.
Yeah.
I was just in North California yesterday, and it was gorgeous, just beautiful redwood trees and stuff. But the point is, LA to me is such a positive. In my experience, I live in the positivity of Los Angeles. Of course,
and that's the choice. That's an active choice you make, because anybody could sit and look at the negative, and that's why I choose not to watch news. To be honest with you, I
totally get it.
I don't want to hear it. The only time I watched news, I think, was for a little bit when 9/11. That was it. But
that was it, huh?
I just don't. I don't want any negative. And plus, most of the time, it's. I started studying self-development years ago, and I consistently read that the thoughts you have first thing in the morning and the last thing in the day tend to govern your subconscious. And I know how important your subconscious is to who you are as a person in a conscious level. So I just said it was just easy to eliminate it.
Made a conscious decision. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I was just one. And I am ignorant about it, and then people can joke and laugh, and I'm okay with that. I don't really care. I mean, it's like
it's your choice. You're good with it.
Yeah, I'm really good with it. I don't care. So to summarize, boys and girls, there are good people and bad people all over the world. Just focus on the good ones.
Yeah, and that's a great point. That the people that I surround myself with here in Los Angeles are wonderful, successful, or people that are bound to be successful that I can help be successful. But that's the kind of people that's the kind of mentality that they have. That's who I surround myself with.
And most of the time, successful people are nice, because you can't be an asshole and become successful. I mean, you have it slip by here and there like everything else, but for the most part, people are pretty nice that are successful.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sure.
Let's do something crazy and talk about some of the artists that you worked with, or not them, but you. How did you get the gig? You already talked about Enrique. How did you wind up connecting with Smash Mouth?
In 2011, a wonderful friend and drummer, Randy Cook, who currently plays with Smash Mouth, called me up and said, hey, Greg, the guitarist, the guy that wrote everything, which is a wonderful writer and a wonderful guy. I mean, I've met him on a few occasions. Real sweetheart. He just left, and we leave in 5 days to tour in Iraq and Kuwait for 2.5 weeks for the troops. Are you available? And I was like, I wasn't available. I had some stuff going on, but I made myself available, because when Randy Cook calls, I am available. I want to play with that motherfucker.
Yeah.
So, man, I hope cursing is okay on this show.
Yeah, totally.
So, Yeah, they called me. I had 3 days to learn an hour-and-a-half set, and that's it. So he got me on, and the rest is history.
And you've been with them pretty much since?
Well, I was with them that year for that tour, and then they didn't have anything going on. So I went on tour with someone else, and I said, "Oh, listen, just call me if you need me." They called. I wasn't available. So Mike Krampus, another guitarist, came in and played with them. He played with them so half of 2011, the second half, and then 2012 to 2013, he produced their album Magic. And for whatever reason, they parted ways at the end of 2012, and they asked me to come back. I was with them from 2013, again from 2013 to mid 2016. In 2015, I started working with Enrique, and I was bouncing back and forth. They're both bands. You have bands that understand the hired gun, like, we get it. You need to work. Do what you do. Just get us a good song. But you also have artists that they're like, no, you're our guy, and we want you on stage with us every time. In the case of Enrique and Smash Mouth, they are both artists that want to have the same faces on stage. It's just a preference. Nothing wrong with that. I totally get it. Yeah. So I had to make a choice. I chose Enrique. Smash Mouth got a different guitarist, and that was it. And then Greg eventually came back, Greg Camp, the original guitarist. And then a few months ago, they hit me up while there was really not much work going on with Enrique. And they said, "Hey, you available?" I was like, yeah. And long story short, here I am.
Is Greg still there, or is he left again?
No, Greg left. They parted ways for whatever reason. I'm not really sure what the reason is, but they asked me to come back. I accepted. I tried to make it work with both Enrique and Smash Mouth, but in 2016 I chose Enrique. In 2019 I chose Smash Mouth, and I've been very, very happy. I was very happy with Enrique, and I, as I told management and as I told Enrique himself, I look forward to playing with him again, whether it's full time or just coming in and subbing. We left on a very good note. I was like, whenever you need me, I'm here. But I just kind of feel like I need to go this route right now.
Good for you, man. Well, you're a rock guy, and it's what you want to do, man.
I do. It is a wonderful, I mean, they're both great gigs for what they are. They're just very different gigs, but I had a blast on both of them.
Enrique, you're touring more internationally?
Yeah, although we did do a couple of tours in the U.S. with Pitbull in 2017. We did a couple of big tours, like biggest tours I've ever been on, like 15, I think 12 buses, 15 trailers.
Wow.
50. So it was a very, very big tour with over 100 people.
What's the biggest audience?
The biggest audience I've ever played with Enrique was 80,000, but the size of that tour was like we played Madison Square Garden 2 days in a row.
That had to be really cool.
Size. Yeah, that was. That's the size of the tour. Like they sold out Madison Square Garden for 2 nights in a row. So it's a very big tour. I was so happy to be a part of it.
That's interesting. So Pitbull was opening for Enrique, or Enrique was opening for Pitbull, or they switched? Co-headline? Co-headlined, yeah. They flop times they would open, times they would open. Interesting. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Judith Hill.
Yep.
How'd you connect with her?
I had a friend that I met in Guitar Center. We were both salespeople at the time. Michael North.
That's a great story, dude.
Michael North, who I'm still in touch with, great singer. I played on a few of his albums. He knew Pee-wee, which I don't know if you know Pee-wee. Pee-wee is Judith Hill's father. He's an amazing R&B bass player. And her mother, which I'm blanking on her name right now, my apologies, but Michiko Hill. She's an incredible pianist, and so is her daughter, Judith. So they needed some guitarists to come in and play some stuff. I went in, I played on a few of the songs for the album, and then they asked me to play shows with her.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, it was really cool. Amazed. She's incredible. I mean, the whole family is just, what a talented family.
Let me ask you this. Any low points or dark periods you've had to go through?
Obviously, yes. But I'm not sure. I think the hardest times for me are financial times. As a hired gun and a musician, one of the strategies that I use is the hustle. I am constantly hustling. I just mentioned this on another podcast,
You have
Thriving
to.
Musician podcast. That's more of a business podcast for musicians. And I said, I've said this for many, many years. Not just a musician, a freelancer in any business is constantly working. And what I mean is, you're always working on the past, present, and future. You're working on getting paid from things that happened from the past, whether it's sending invoices, making phone calls, threatening someone with a lawsuit, whatever it is, or just reminding someone gently, hey, oh, sorry, I'll send you the money right now. But you're constantly working on getting money from the past, doing whatever it is you're doing right now, to like a session that I have to do today, and then working on future relationships, working on future gigs. So you're constantly working in past, present, and future to have a consistent flow. Now,
let me just interrupt you for 1 second.
Yeah.
The fact that you are aware of that is, and it sounds probably silly to you, but is huge, because unfortunately many musicians, they're more present oriented, which is great for the creativity aspect of living.
100%.
But if you're not on top of this, you're going to have those lows a lot more than you want to. And you may still have them even when you're on, and you're going to have them even if you're on top of this.
Yeah.
And anybody does is self-employed.
Yeah. I mean, really what I tend to preach to people if they ask me is, dude, if you want to be a successful artist, musician, painter, writer, whatever it is you want to be. Oh, and we should talk a little about the, talk to a pro vibe. Like, it's just something that I tell people. But if you want to be a successful any one of those things, you have to. There is no way you can't avoid it. You have to treat it like a business. And I tell people, you might be too much of an artist, too emotional to be able to handle it like a business. That's fine. Find someone that can. That's fine.
That's the smart thing to do, 100%.
You have to be able to treat it like a business. And that's what businesses do. Businesses are constantly learning from past failures and successes and trying to figure out how to be better. They're currently doing something to make money today and pay their employees, and they're always working on future projects. Yeah. And you have to treat your business like that in order for a longevity, to have a long life to your business, a long career. And that, to me, part of it is the hustle. I'm constantly working on sessions, licensing opportunities, podcasts.
Have you done a lot of licensing?
Oh, shitload.
That's great.
Like, that's my second job.
Dude, as a business guy looking inside this industry, I would like, if no one's going to ask me because I got no credibility, but as an outsider, as a business guy, that is the thing I would be doing, because that's the only way you get, like mailbox money or ongoing residuals, and you have a catalog that you keep building up, and it's never wasted, because you could have a song laying in there that you did 3 years ago, and someone says, hey man, you got anything like a salsa with like a scary vibe? Oh yeah, I do. And now you created this song and you thought it was like ashes to ashes, dust to dust, but it's now brand new life, and it might bring you royalty checks for 10 years.
Yeah. One of the things that I love about music is once you create it, there is no waste. Yeah. There is no waste.
Nothing's wasted. Yeah.
Always good for something. So when I'm not on the road, when I'm home, what I do is I create a bunch of content for TV and film. I actually been doing that since 2007, writing songs, writing instrumentals and stuff. And in 2017, I actually sold my whole catalog.
Wow.
And I took the money and I bought a couple of properties.
Good for you.
Missouri. So
What made you pick Missouri?
The
Least amount of Israelis in America or something?
no, it was just a financial. I ran the numbers. I'm a
Yeah.
very
I'm
very
sure. Yeah.
analytical guy, and
Well,
it was a good return as an investor.
It's tough. It's tough to be a property manager from so far away. That's.
I've got a property manager.
Oh, you got a property. Okay, great, and you're all good, man.
But you know what? To make your point, to cater to your point, it's hard to be the owner with a property manager. The property manager that I'm using right now is the third one that I've used in a year.
Wow.
So, but they're doing a great job. She's doing a great job so far. So remember, well, so I sold those, but now I've created a whole new catalog with a whole new business plan. And to keep it simple, without going into too much detail, my again, planning for the future, my 5-year plan, by the time I'm 45-ish, because again, life happens.
Yeah.
For better or for worse, life happens. I could be asked to join the Foo Fighters. That's my ultimate goal at this time in my life. I'd love to join that band, but or play for them.
I would love for you to get in the Foo Fighters, to be honest with you.
Thank you. That's my goal in life.
Awesome.
What's funny is I am related through marriage to Chris Shiflett.
You know what? I've had like 5 guys on here related to Chris Shiflett. I'm not kidding you, man. I'm like, and
no
Slash
shit.
Too.
No shit.
Do you know Greg Saran?
Oh yeah, of course.
Greg's, like, I think Slash is married to Greg's sister.
Oh, he is. You're right. He is.
He had such nice things to say about him too. Like he gave him a guitar one year.
He did. I remember.
Cool guy. Yeah.
I've never met Slash though, but Greg is a super cool guy. I love that.
Very nice guy. Really cool.
Such an accomplished musician too. What was I saying?
About Missouri? No. You were talking about the 5-year plan, and
Oh, the 5-year plan. So at this point in my life, actually, to tie into what you asked me, if there were any lulls, if there were any dark points, and to me, I really think that for the most part, thankfully, my family's healthy, I'm healthy, everyone's good. Other than heartbreaks, the main lulls I've had in my life were financially based. Even though I save money and everything, if I'm not working, if I'm not working for 3 days, if I'm not busy, I get really depressed.
Sure, I get it.
I like working. I like moving. I like making things happen. And if I'm not, I get really dark.
I get that 100%.
So to avoid that, one of the things that I'm doing now is, for the next 5 years, I'm putting a shitload of time into converting money from licensing and touring opportunities. I love touring, and I hope to do it for another 15 years, if not longer. But being realistic, that could disappear tomorrow. What I'm trying to do in the next 5 years is convert a lot of the money from the music industry into real estate investments and different sort of investments. So the ultimate goal is, it may seem a little low for some people and a really great goal to some other people, but my goal is that within 5 years, I'm making 6 figures from
your properties,
mailbox money. I
so
want from rentals and from royalties, and I'll keep working, but I don't want to work. If I don't have work for touring work, I don't want to worry about it.
Yeah, I totally get. Real estate's the way to do it, man. Because not only you have the monthly check coming in, you got the appreciation, and that's the way to do it, man.
Yeah, so that's the goal. A lot of real estate, and again, right now I'm just trying to, like, the money that I took from selling my catalog a few years ago, took that and bought a couple of properties, and I just want to keep doing that. So I'm working very hard right now. Since I sold the catalog, I'm at, I think, 247 new songs.
That's
I'm
it.
I'm constantly.
You've only written 247 new songs in the last 2 years, Sean. I thought you were a worker. That's awesome, man. That's really cool. That's like 20 songs a month.
Well, my goal is 200 a year, and I have yet to reach that because I get busy, life, But
that's awesome, man. Guitar wise, what's your go-to guitar, and what other two maybe round out your top three?
There's a simple way to answer that, and then I'll answer the answer that I give everyone. They say, "Hey, what's your favorite guitar?" I say, "Whatever." No, that's not the question. They say, "What guitar do you use the most?" Something like that, and I said, "Whatever they pay me to play."
Yeah, I hear you.
If the job calls for a Strat style guitar, I will use a Strat style guitar. And if the job calls for a Tele style guitar, or a Les Paul guitar, or an acoustic, or a nylon string, or a banjo, whatever the job calls for, and it's bringing in money, that's what I'm happy with. That being said, we discussed this earlier. If you've made it this far in the podcast, and if you know me, then you know that I'm a big fan of Shabbat guitars. A dear friend of mine, Avishai Shabbat, lives in LA, born and raised in Israel, and came here with the dream of building amazing guitars, and has succeeded beyond my farthest expectations. He came with the same thing that he came in guns a-blazing, man, and killed it. He's married. He's got a beautiful son, beautiful wife, a wonderful home. He's got a thriving business. Man, I mean, living the American dream. And consequentially making incredible guitars. One of the things that I'm so proud of using these guitars is they are made so well. I have 2 Teles with him and 1 Strat that if you're watching a video of this, you can see behind me.
Yeah, man, I love the way that Strat looks. It's what is that? It's not seafoam. What is it?
It is seafoam.
Oh, it is seafoam green. Okay, yeah, it's really gorgeous, and it's got a rosewood neck, which I love, or maybe ebony. I can't really see it from here.
I don't even know, but hang on one second.
It's beautiful, man. I love dark wood in the neck.
No, I won't even record. But the point is that that was my main guitar for years and years and years with Enrique, and then I have a couple that are not open, not here right now because it was Smash Mouth. A couple of Teles. I use the Tele style, so that's called a Lynx, Shabbat Lynx. And the Tele style ones are called Lions. So I have 2 Shabbat Lions and 1 Lynx. And
are those his own pickups as well, or does he?
No, those are actually Fishman's.
Active,
noiseless. I forget. It's one of their new series. I forget what it's called exactly, but they're one of the companies that sponsors me, and I sponsor them. I only have it in that guitar. Cannot say enough how amazing it is. It is so clean and so, I mean, I recorded the music. I recorded some stuff in my studio before we changed pickups. Then we changed the pickups and I played the same thing left to right with a spectrum analyzer. I was like, how did they do this? Because it's a very unique system. I don't remember. It's not your usual noiseless. It's a new 2019, 2020 vibe. If you look into Fishman noiseless pickups, you'll find them. But yeah, they're amazing. He usually puts in Lawler pickups. But I took out the Lawlers from there, which sounded great, but I put in these Fishmans, and I can't say enough good things about them. And I also in my Teles have David Allen pickups, which I'm super happy with. I've been using his pickups for years in my Les Pauls, in my in the Shabbats, and a bunch of guitars that I can't remember right now. I've been using him, and I love his pickups.
Where's he out? Is he Texas or Pennsylvania? Where is he out of?
I forget. I spoke to him a few months ago, but I forget where he's out of.
A number of people have a good chunk of people, a dozen people have recommended his pickups, and they've been really happy with them.
Yeah. Great pickups, and he's a super sweet guy. And I've got nothing against Lawler; they're great pickups. But this could take us into another part of the conversation here. But one of my things is I love relationships. I love building relationships with vendors. I'm not going to use your stuff if it's crap. I'm only going to use stuff that makes me better. Which brings me back to, real quick, before I talk about relationships, Shabbat guitars. One of the things that I love about them is how dependable they are. They're made so well. Here's a story. Middle of tour in 2015, 2014 with Smash Mouth, we took off from an American tour, flew to France to do a one-off, came back and continued the tour. On the way coming back, they lost 2 of my guitars. They lost my Shabbat guitars. In Pelican cases, Very durable cases. I don't sponsor them, but I'm just saying they're very durable. There's no relationship there. They're just amazing cases. And they lost my guitars. My guitars were gone for 3 weeks. When I got them back, they were still tuned.
Holy crap. That's badass, man.
They had been all over the world somewhere. They had been in a few places in the world and sitting in hot facilities and cold facilities and hot storage, cold storage. Nothing, dude. Nothing. I've literally been, I even put this up online, one of the stories on Instagram. I took my Shabbat guitar. I went somewhere in the world. It had been like a 30-hour travel day. And I went and I took my Shabbat guitar, that one that we're looking at, that Seafoam Green Lynx. I took it out of my amazing cases, gig bags that I do endorse, Reunion Blues gig bags. Incredible. Cannot go wrong with those cases. I took it out of there and I went, vroom, psh, tuned.
That's awesome.
I don't even, like, it's just when you're using really good gear,
yeah,
there's no replacing it. There's no replacing it. I dig so hard into my guitars. I play rough. I will start the Smash Mouth show 5 songs in a row, digging hard into my guitars. I play extra heavy strings because I dig so hard. Because if I play,
what do you play?
I play, right now I'm playing a custom gauge. So it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50.
Oh, wow.
But I was playing 10 on the bottoms, 11s on the top.
Yeah.
Very thick. And the reason is because I dig in. And if I'm playing a light gauge, it'll just bend too easy. And I don't want it to bend. Right? So the point is, Labella Strings, actually, I think they're in New York or Jersey, that area.
They are.
Labella Strings. I just started working with them this year. Incredible, so supportive. And I was like, hey, do you think you can make me some custom sets? And they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. What do you want? And I've tried them because my tech recommended it, and amazing. But what I was saying was, you use really great material. There really isn't a way to replace it. When I play the first 5 songs, 6 songs with one guitar with Smash Mouth, digging hard, does not lose tuning. It's just made really well. And that's the first thing that happens when you buy a shitty guitar. You will lose your tuning a minute into the first song. You'll be like, oh shit, I got to retune. It just doesn't happen with well-made guitars, with good hardware, with good wood, with care, good strings, good pickups. I mean, there's no replacing it.
Awesome. Very cool, man.
Oh, you know what? I was taking that into relationships.
Talk to a pro?
Well, talk to a pro. We can take that next. But I was going to say, I don't use stuff if it's crap. But I also love building relationships with small manufacturers and small companies that have great gear that need to get out there. Yeah. So in my case, Moody straps, Moody leather straps. Amazing. I've recommended it to so many people and they swear by them. They're just incredible straps. Shabbat guitars, Labella strings, David Allen pickups, Fishman music pickups. What else? Ultimate ears that I'm wearing right now. There's just so many. So I like working with brands that I can create a relationship with.
Now you sound like in the Zohan down at, the going out of business sale guys.
Yeah, it's Sony Guts. It's Sony Guts.
Oh my God. You need Sony.
No. I guess. So that's actually one of my favorite parts there, because the guy tries to sell on the Sony, a Panasonic with Sony Guts or whatever, and he says, "Well, it said in the ad that it was Sony," and he's like, "No, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's Panasonic." And then he gets on the phone. He's like, "Wait 1 second. Yes, we sell Sony. Come in. Sony." And it's like, anyway, where were we? Yeah, this says Panasonic. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. No. You're just talking about, your guys that you worked with, which is cool.
Yeah, I like creating relationships with companies that will promote me as I promote them. That's someone like, that's for instance why I don't work with like really huge brands, Fender, Gibson, Taylor. It's like, I'm pretty sure I could get endorsed with Taylor, but why, when I would be like a tiny little, I would be like a paperclip on their agenda.
Yeah.
Whereas I'll work with a company that makes amazing acoustic guitars. Maton from Australia. I don't know. Have you ever run across them? I mean, Keith Urban
Never heard
uses
them.
them. Justin Derrico from Pink uses them.
I had Justin on this show. He's a good guy.
So many. I use, kind of blanking on his name. Justin. Jesus.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
What a
Really good player.
They're just incredible guitars. Some of the most, they're a smaller brand from Australia that it makes amazing sounding guitars. And I'd rather work with them any day over working with a company that could not care less that they have me on their roster.
No, I hear you, man. That's a smart move, I would say.
And again, building relationships, which I could talk on for hours, but we'll stop it there. The talk to a pro, I'll keep it short. My philosophy, and this is what I tell people always, no matter what you want to be, before you put the money into it, the time into it, the years and years and years of schooling, how do you know you're even going to like it? Talk to someone that has been doing it successfully for 5, 10 years, and ask them all the relevant questions. The good things about it, the bad things about it. Can you be successful doing it? How successful? Where are the failing points? Where are the success points, strategies, all these things. Ask what you need to know, because for instance, you may want to be a touring musician, and then you may talk to me and I may tell you, well, one of the things, funny you should ask, yes, flying is something that I do hundreds and hundreds and thousands of hours every year. So if you don't like flying, if you are petrified of flying, maybe, I'm not saying don't be a touring musician, but you may want to consider possibly being a session guitarist. Yeah. Because, like it or not, flying is a big part of being a touring musician. It is a huge part of it.
In fact, most guys I've interviewed said, we get paid to fly. So I would do the gig for free, but I get paid to put up with all the other bullshit.
For days and days and days of flying. Consistency. There is no consistency in being a freelance musician. You're constantly working your ass off, like I said, past, present, and future. And if you are a kind of person that needs consistency and security in your life, don't get me wrong, I create security by hustling. If this falls through, doesn't matter. I've got a million other things that I've got. So I create a consistent net. But if you're uncomfortable with things falling through and having a month where you could make $30,000 and having a month where you could make minus $5,000, if you're not comfortable with that, maybe being a freelance musician is not for you.
Totally. Any entrepreneurial venture.
Yeah. So I always tell, like I told my brother, he wanted to be a writer. He is a writer now. He's an incredible writer. And I said to him, and I said this to so many people, I was like, well, you're in Israel or you're in America, you're in LA, find 10 writers, hit them up, maybe through contacts, maybe someone can put in a good word for you. So it's not complete cold call or cold email. Out of the 10 people, maybe 1 or 2 will hit you back. Just be really nice and say, hey, would you mind if I took you out to lunch or a cup of coffee or dinner? I'd love to kind of rack your brain for a little and kind of ask you some questions. One of those 10 is going to be like, yeah, sure, no problem. Let's go. When's good for you? Wednesday? Yeah. Okay, let's meet for a cup of coffee at Starbucks. Ask them all the important stuff. In my life, remember I mentioned Randy Cook?
Yeah.
Randy is a very successful drummer. Everyone loves Randy. He's a beast of a drummer. He's an amazing dude. And I took him to at least 3 lunches on me. I was just like, hey, dude, you mind if I take you out to lunch and kind of ask you a bunch of questions?
Just picking his brain and asking him for help.
Here's this scenario, that scenario. What if that guy's not paying me? But like, how do I approach that? There's so many ways that pros that have been doing this for a long time that you can, that they can help you through the pitfalls of this business or any other business. Use that to your advantage. And again, before you put time and effort and money into a career, just go check out if this career is for you. I do that with everything I want to do. If I wanted to become anything now, a fisherman, an angler, before I put in money into, okay, well, I got to spend $2,000 on a whole bunch of lures and a whole bunch of bait things and a whole bunch, and I got to get the best of the best. What is it called? A fishing pole?
Rod and your reel?
Rod. Yeah. Before I do all that, how about I just go out with my friend Randy from Sushi Confidential, San Jose, in Campbell, in Northern California, there in the Bay Area. Why don't I go out with him? Since he said, hey, if you ever want to go fishing, just let me know. Well, why don't I go up there for a weekend and go fishing with him? See if it's something that I like before I spend any money. So I use that in general in my life, and I really recommend it.
It's great advice, man. It's great advice, and it's really easy to do that. You got to hustle, and if you can't do that, if you can't get 10 people, then you really got to question: should you even be doing what you're thinking you're going to do?
Yeah, maybe there aren't as many successful people. Maybe it's a great point.
Yeah. Something or someone you miss from your childhood?
Man, there's so many, but the thing that comes to mind is a wonderful guy. Man, I've had so many. I fear that just mentioning this one guy is unfair to all the wonderful role models that I've had. But with that being said, with saying that I've had many amazing role models in my life, one of the guys that really helped shape me into the work ethics madman that I am these days is Shuli Oded. He was my boss, taught me so much about sound engineering. I worked for him in the Musical Connection, a sound and a PA and lighting company and video and stuff from Jerusalem. And I was just, man, trial by fire. And he's such a supportive dude. And he really, I will say that there are a few people that have made me the man that I am today. My parents. Avital was another guy that took me into a studio, and I did so many things and learned how to work as a professional in the studio and working with a click and a metronome and whatnot. But, and one of the other people is Shuli Oded. I mean, they all shaped me, but that's someone that I miss. I see him every time I'm in Israel. We always get together. He makes the time. We always get together to catch up. Amazing.
That's cool,
dude.
Man.
Yeah.
Best thing that ever happened to you?
Well, I was supposed to say meet my wife, right?
Whatever you want. And some guys say that, some guys don't. If it's true, then say it. If it's not, don't. Now you got to say it, because I just said if it's not, don't.
Yeah. No, well, I will say.
Listen to this, and she's going to be like.
I'll say again, so many things have shaped my life to put me where I am. So many amazing things and bad things have shaped me to be where I am. I will say that working with Randy and the people that he's connected me with, like for instance, Eddie Kaipo, the sound engineer, the amazing audio engineer that I met working with Smash Mouth. He's the guy that put my hat in for the Enrique Iglesias. Audition.
Very cool.
And I met a lot of people, including Phil X. Do you know Phil? Plays for Bon Jovi now. Sure. So I Phil X. And Eddie and so many other people I met through Randy Cook. That guy is, like I said, everyone loves Randy. And I owe a lot of and Anna Nalick, he recommended me. I went and auditioned and then played with her for a while for like a promo tour. So he's really one of the guys so meeting him was a big thing for me from my past.
How did you meet him?
I meet him?
Yeah.
Again?
How did
I meet him?
Yeah.
He was playing with Phil X. They're both Canadian. He was playing with Phil X in Phil's band called The Drills. I went to see them play. There's so much history in that, but I went to see Phil play at the Key Club, and I see this drummer playing with him that is blowing me away. Not only is he playing at 170, 180 BPM these songs, he's reading charts as he's doing it, not missing a beat, smiling, having a blast, while he's doing a million other things. Like, for instance, doing all of this stuff, then puts one of his sticks under his right armpit, playing the whole beat, everything with his right hand, while he's fixing the hi-hat with his left hand.
Right.
This guy, if you ever saw a video of what he does on stage, he does not stop moving. He's always doing something and doing everything amazing. And I was blown away. I was like, oh my God, I got to know who this dude is.
So you just went over and talked to him?
I did. And
cool.
A few months later, I actually got to play with him in a different band. And there was a song he needed to learn. And they're like, hey, do you think you could learn this? And he was like, yeah, play it real quick. Grabbed a piece of paper, a pen. The song played once. He made a few notes. Okay, let's go. I was like, wait, what? You don't want to listen to that again? He's like, no, I got everything. I'm good. Killed it. Nailed it. I was like, okay, dude. Yeah, this is a guy I need to connect with. And we've been friends ever since, and he really took my career to another level. And introduced me to people that have taken my career to another level. That, I will say, that's someone that I'm very glad I met in the past. My wife is someone that I met 8 years ago, and that I'm very, very happy that I met her for the rest of my life. Because, as you know, I'm sure, and you've heard many times, you have to have a supportive partner in this business. And, and she is an incredible supporter of mine. And I run everything by her. Should I play with a Smash Mouth? Should I play with Enrique? What do I say to these guys? What do I say to those guys? Should I take this gig? What should I do? I run everything by her. She is an amazing person, amazing, what's it called? Bouncing board, or, the
sounding board.
Sounding board.
Yeah,
to bounce things off of her. And I value her. She helps me with research on stuff. She's, just an incredible partner. I don't want kids. She doesn't want kids. So we're also a really great match for that.
Yeah, that would be tough if someone does and someone doesn't. Yeah.
90% of the time you meet someone great and it's just like, I don't want kids. Well, I do. What are we going to do? We'll figure it out one day. In our case, we're both on the same page.
Yeah.
And she's just an incredible person. So I'd say Randy Cook is one of that I'm very fortunate to have met both of them.
You covered yourself, man.
Thank you.
That was well done. Hey, 2 more questions. Any hobbies outside of music?
Hobbies. I like cooking. I like smoking meat and barbecuing.
Number 1 hobby for musicians, cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, I forget
smoking meat is really big too.
Well, yeah, barbecue and smoking meat. Yeah. I actually, my friend, he's an amazing guitarist. He created this podcast. Oh my God, what is it called? I forget. But I forget. I'll have to tell you. I'll put it in the show notes or whatever. Let me look while I'm talking to you. And he knows a lot of chefs that love music and play guitar, and he knows a lot of musicians that love to cook.
It's not Neil Giraldo, is it?
No.
Oh.
So he decided to create this. It's called Rockstar Chefs.
That's so funny.
By Steve Ornest, which is a really great guitarist friend of mine. And I was his first guest. And we talked about that because I love cooking and barbecuing and stuff like that. And I don't have too many hobbies simply because I don't have time, man.
Sure.
I just don't have time. I like to work. And if I'm not working, I'm spending time with my wife.
And you've been together with her, you said 8 years?
That's it. I'm
good
working that way.
And last question, what is the toughest decision you've ever had to make, or most difficult thing you've had to do?
Let me see here.
Man, now you got me hungry thinking of smoking meat. I had some ribs this week. I don't eat ribs a lot, but I had some and
They were great.
they weren't very good. It's like disappointing because I don't eat them often. And then when I have them, I'm like, you want to eat, good ribs. Unless you're eating them every day, then it doesn't matter. I don't eat them very often. I love ribs, man.
No, we just had some a few days ago.
My mouth is literally watering now.
You know what? I was looking for something. I thought I might have the answer to this, but ask it again.
Toughest decision you've had to make or most difficult thing you've ever had to do?
Look, I think the toughest thing was leaving my whole family behind, leaving my whole continent and moving to America all by myself and starting from scratch, even though I had a successful career in Israel. So it was the hardest. It paid off. So sure. I feel like a hardest thing should be like, oh, that was so hard and it didn't pay off. But no, this was the hardest one and it paid off.
That's good.
Yeah.
Why not? Dude, first of all, thank you very much for your time and for being so open and sharing all these cool stories. I want to tell people where to find you. First of all, Sean is out on tour with Smash Mouth, and you can find all the gigs on either the Smash Mouth or Sean's website, which is Sean Hurwitz, HURWITZ.com, and it's Sean, SEAN. He's Israeli Irish.
But by the way, for those who can say my name, it's Shachar. If you can say ch, if you have that in your vocabulary, then you can call me Shachar.
There you go. There's a quiz. There's an oral quiz after this. Go to SeanHurwitz.com. Again, it's Sean, SEAN, Hurwitz, HURWITZ. And you can connect with him on all his socials there on social media, Instagram and Twitter. Primarily, it's at Sean H Music. And he's also available. There's some good clips of you on YouTube, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for more.
I bet. He's also available for sessions. He's got a home studio. And if you're interested in collaborating with him and hiring him for some session work or for some sync material, he's available. Go to his website. You can, I'm sure there's a contact tab on there or something like that.
Absolutely. You can contact me. There's a bunch of tabs linking you to anywhere from my Instagram to my Twitter to social media to all my social media to LinkedIn to my email. You can email me directly. And let me point out that one thing about sessions is you may think, the guitarist for Smash Mouth, the guitarist for Enrique, he charges an arm and a leg. It's like, no, dude, I charge people what they can afford, as long as it makes sense to me. I mean, if you need me for an hour or two and you can only afford X, then give me a call. We'll make it work. I don't say no. I don't need a minimum of $1,000 a day to play on your track. No, not at all. I'm open to it. So let's talk.
Awesome. And that being said, don't pay him in hummus either, man.
Exactly.
He's flexible, not that flexible. So be nice. Man, any final words of wisdom?
We sort of went over it, but my final words of wisdom is really, really make sure to treat, if you want to be successful in anything, if you want it to be a career and you're in charge of it, meaning you're a freelance person, a freelance worker, you have to treat it as a business. And again, like I said before, if you are not the business type, find someone you can collaborate with that is. I think my dog has something to say about that, if you can hear me. But it's super important because I really feel like, and this is speaking from many years of experience, I feel like we're amazing musicians, amazing artists, amazing painters, writers, everything. Where they fail is they could be the most talented people in the world, but if they can't figure out how to monopolize on that talent, it's not going to happen. I mean,
it's a business.
So you have to figure it out, even if it's finding someone else that will do that portion of it while you are just creative and they are business.
But nowadays there's
you have to treat it.
With also, everybody knows somebody, and it's not hard to pull someone aside and say, hey, can you give me 20 minutes of your time? I just want to get a brief, point me in the right direction for X, Y, and Z. And then there's so much information out there. It's accessible, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Sean, I really appreciate your time. I hope to see you when you're down here in Orlando. Thanks, man. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this, please share it on your social media channels. We appreciate your support. Thanks very much to Sean Hurwitz. Please check him out online on tour on the road with Smash Mouth or at SeanHurwitz.com. Again, it's SEAN Hurwitz, HURWITZ. Make sure you go to everyonelovesguitar.com so you sign up to get on our newsletter list so you and I can connect. And most important, remember that happiness is a choice, so choose wisely. Be nice, go play guitar, and have fun. Till next time, peace and love, everybody. I'm out. Thank you, brother.